Hello and welcome to the Penno channel. We're back for the final one before the main season kicks off and gets underway. Villa have just played Dortmund in an pre-season friendly, ended up losing 2-0. I'm here with my bro to discuss everything Villa, talk about the game and what we see going forward. Bro, how you doing? How you been and how did you find the game?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. I've been enjoying this sun today. Probably gonna go outside for a bit after this as well. But yeah, man,
Sunny
just
and
got.
sunny, man. Got the jacket on and sunny.
I don't know what you're preparing for, man. Like, I don't know if there's some event coming
For
that you
for for make an effort.
like. What haven't you told me, man? Is there something big coming? That, like you in the jacket, man. Like I can see the sun shining through the window as well,
I
fam.
don't know. I don't know if you're on a wearing a jacket either, brother. We'll never know.
Yeah, I know, man. You can never tell, bro. I could be butt naked. But yeah. Um, that game. I don't know. What did you think about it, man? It feels like I'm caught between. It's only pre-season and then there's a bit of the season starts next week, so are we allowed to get a bit concerned now? Do we still remain chill? Like that's where I'm at.
Yeah, before we get into this one, if you could like the stream, subscribe if you're new around here as well, and let us know your thoughts in the comments during the stream and after as well. There's a few people in here. We'll get those introducing those. Ryan Lee's joined. Thanks for joining, Ryan. He goes, evening, lads. Thanks for joining. Duncan Kilburn's joined. Thanks for joining, Duncan. He goes, hi all. Good match and test. 2-0. Didn't really reflect the match. Lack of goals without Watkins remains a problem. Felix and Chalobah in. And he also says, Archie not good enough, though. Need second striker in. Yeah, bro. So going into it, we were playing against the Champions League finalists, a very, very good side. We saw how they played against a number of teams last year in the Champions League, PSG being one of those. Even Real Madrid in the final, they were playing Real Madrid off the park at times. So you're facing a good side. They've got a new manager in Nuri Sahin, if you remember Nuri Sahin. Very good player, played for Dortmund as well. I think he's managing the Turkish league, and now this is his first stint with Borussia Dortmund. And this was really like his big game before the start of their main season. I think they're in the cup. They've got a cup game next week as well before the Bundesliga kicks off. So it was his first game, full house at the ground as well. Loads of Villa went across. Credit to the Villa fans for going. Hope you enjoyed it. It looked like they had an amazing time as well from what I've seen on socials. They had a full house, so they've packed out the stadium. New manager. Um, they're up for it. They're going to be up for the game because it's the first time they've really seen it, and they're against a side who they could potentially be facing in the Champions League next season. So it was a difficult task from the off. We'll go into the lineup and the start of things. What are your thoughts on the lineup? A few omissions. Obviously, Diego Carlos now, since that red card, he hasn't played since, and he's looking like he could be moving on. Reports of a bid rejected. From Fulham, that looks like it will probably materialise over the coming week. Matty Cash wasn't in the squad, and Ollie Watkins as well, not part of the squad. With Emi Martinez and Ezri Konsa in the starting lineup, you'd thought Watkins potentially would be there. Obviously, John Duran as well. We've seen the summer that's been going on and all the speculation and the rumours regarding John Duran, but he was also not part of the squad as well. So yeah, what was your thoughts on the initial side? Costa getting a start within that. Luca Digne kept his place. Matson didn't start. And I think apart from that, it was kind of the same names, except Bailey didn't start as well, and Philogene found himself starting.
Yeah, my first thoughts, like every single Villa fan, was where's Watkins? Like I did that thing where I went through the first 11. I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting him to start. Looked at the bench. I was like, where is he? I mean, Konsa was starting, Martinez was starting, so we knew it wasn't a problem like that. Duran wasn't there either, but then we know that could be other issues. But Watkins not being there, like, it's concerning, isn't it? A little bit. Like, season starts next week. He hasn't really played any preseason games. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out with that. Whether he's ill, whether he's injured, whether he just couldn't fly because I think he was supposed to travel. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But it would have been nice for Watkins just to be there so we can get like a full test of what our side would be like. I'm sure they'll have like.
You got to think Watkins' last goal was at that ground.
Yeah, exactly.
So it would have been nice to see him play there after he scored that goal against the Dutch for England. That was his last goal. So all that around it, and it would have been a nice headline as well. Watkins playing at the ground where he got that goal for England as well, and playing his first minutes again. That would have been his next game. But yeah, hopefully it's nothing too serious regarding Watkins. fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed, because the one thing that stuck out is we haven't, apart from Cameron Archer, that's the only recognised striker who's had minutes. Now, Morgan Rogers can play up front as well, but I just don't think you don't get the best out of him there. I think he's either a floating 10 or he plays off the left. So out of our recognised strikers, only Cameron Archer's got minutes in pre-season, so that is a slight concern for me.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have a behind closed doors friendly or something midweek if he's back better. Like, they won't let him go in just raw into the West Ham game. But yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
Another thing I thought is maybe Dean might get the nod ahead of Maatsen for West Ham. I'm still not sure on that one what Emery's going to fancy for that game. Is he going to be worried about the aerial duels threat and play Dean over Maatsen, who actually does have pretty good record with like headers and stuff like that? So I think Dean might get the nod next week in the Premier League game. Pau, Konsa, you'd expect. And Costa starting, no Cash in the squad. Is Cash leaving? Is Cash gone now? We've been linked to a right back, centre back hybrids in Joe Gomez, Geertruida, Chalobah today. Have we seen the end of Matty Cash? That's another thing I was thinking as well.
Well, potentially he could be injured or ill as well. That I think that's not just a given that Matty Cash is going, because I don't know how you could have that.
And it's not a given, but it raises suspicion, isn't it?
Potentially.
Especially how Carlos has just been like a missed from like all the games since that Seville one. He's not injured. He's been training alone at Bodymore. Like, he's fine. So,
is that the case?
Yeah, man, he's fine. He's been training alone at Bodymore. He's just been banished from the first team, which is a bit harsh. But I guess you get sent off in a pre-season game. That's kind of what you deserve.
Well, do you think that was the riding factor with that, or was just because the bids have come in as well as that?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. Probably just head loss, just pure head loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, any other surprises? So we're just saying Cash Watkins not part of the squad. John Duran as well. Even if we were to sell him, you still expect him to get minutes.
Yeah.
Because every player should be getting minutes in pre-season, no matter if they're staying or going. Because you know, if you're trying to sell him to a club, you want him to see him to get minutes as well. But we move into it, game, bro. What was your thoughts on the first half? It wasn't the best football, was it? I think over the course of last season, at times we saw that when teams pressed us and we weren't allowed to step up and play in our shape, we did kind of struggle to get the ball out of play, either playing it forward or playing it through them. And we saw elements of that within the first half today. Dortmund had an extreme press. It was really good. They pressed in threes and fours at times, and they were playing off the trigger of when Pau Torres got the ball. How did you feel about the first half?
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I think Sahin today got it like perfectly right tactically. There's a feeling with Villa where if we are pressed correctly and we're struggling to move the ball, like we'll move the ball across at the back four, and if we can't find the right openings into midfield, there is a bit of like predictability to our play. And when they press so well, it does lead to us hardly getting any chances off. Like, we cannot get the ball into their final third at all consistently as well. And as you said, we did notice it kind of a little bit towards the end of last season. I think today our first shot was in the 40th minute when McGinn had a header from like outside the box. And then our first shot on target was like Ramsey's in the 45 minute, which was the header as well. That was some nice play from good cross from Philogene. But overall, there's just this like, it's like frustration. It's kind of like lackadaisical as well. Like, we'll get it into the second phase and we don't move the ball quick enough. I don't know if we've run out of ideas or if we just the opposition's like defense is just that good. I think it's a mixture of both. But yeah, it can just be a bit frustrating at times. I don't know if you feel the same when watching us.
Yeah, right. For starters, I think consideration has to be made that you've got Costa playing. You've got, it's a different team again. You've got Philogene playing. You've got Costa playing. You've got Rogers playing up front with McGinn. I think like Rogers just isn't a 9. Like, that isn't his position to lead the line. It's not at all. That's just not how he plays. That's not his game. Rogers, you get the ball to his feet, you play to his feet, and you let him do the business because he's fantastic on the ball. So I think that kind of limited us.
Sorry to cut you off, bro. But I think the thing is that he wants Ramsey to start as well.
Yeah, fair. But I think if Ramsey was to start, he's playing off Watkins rather than leading. If that is the case, or playing off a 9, someone who plays further forward, so he can get into those pockets and space. Because I think that's where he's at his best. When Rodgers gets into pockets and he has space around him, he can link the play up, or he can turn and he can get a shot off. And we saw a number of his goals last season when he got into that space. It was because of that, and he was able to get his shot off as well. So I think that's where he's best. If it is either coming off the left or just playing off the striker. So yeah, I think not having a recognised 9, it compacts us a bit, because we don't really have the option to play long, because it's kind of difficult, because who's going to get in behind? We see Watkins, he can come short or he can go in behind, and we can play long as well. And when he's not there and we don't have that option, everything just drops a few yards, and it kind of compacts us even more. And if a team presses us high and well, if we do play long, we just lose the ball, because we haven't got someone who's going to win it up in that position. And then we'll try and play through it. And at times, if the press is good enough, it kind of cancels what we're trying to do. And a number of times today, I think it wasn't just the shape. I think we were just kind of poor on the ball in instances. I thought McGinn and Pau Torres at times in the first half especially were just poor on the ball, and we weren't able to break through their lines, and ended up giving the ball away in dangerous positions. And it happened a number of times through that first half.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. And then that kind of plays on with a worry some fans did have, like, what if Watkins does get injured next season for a short amount of time? Like last season, we did kind of get lucky that, like, thankfully, he was never injured. Like, his availability was phenomenal, so we never really had that issue of, oh, what will we do while he's out? And I guess now the problem's even worse if Duran wants to leave. Like, I think if Duran stays, and he's an ideal, like, short-term solution where he can run the channels and he has strength, he can hold the ball up. But if he's going, I don't think Archer can play that role to the level Duran can. So
yeah, that was an interesting aspect today, because it's been it throughout pre-season. It's what happens if you don't have Ollie Watkins, and we've kind of seen elements of that throughout the pre-season. It is a thing that we'll ponder on for sure, because if that was ever the case, playing Premier League and Champions League football, we'd have to have solutions if that were ever to happen. Because as you said, last season, I think he missed one game, and that was it. So yeah, it's a slight concern, but something Emery can really look at now, because he's had a feel for it in pre-season. If Watkins is not available, we need solutions on how to play, and especially play out of a press against such good sides against Dortmund, which we will potentially face in the Champions League. So yeah, I think that was a good observation, and it was good to see that a team, when they press high and hard against us in Europe, how will we cope? And if Watkins isn't available as well, what options can we have, and how can we change that and cope with that? Going into the chances that Dortmund had, I think a lot of it was kind of sloppiness on our part more than their creation. I thought, just unforced errors, and again, that could possibly be rust, just being out of sync. But with the first game of the season coming next week, you just hope that that's it now, that we've got those mistakes out of the system, and going into West Ham, it's more of a case of, okay, we're switched on now. We know this is a competitive match. We're fully switched on, and passes are crisper to feet, and touches are better. But that did happen on a number of occasions within that first half.
Yeah, I love Pau Torres to death, but sometimes just clear your lines, man. There is question marks over Pau defensively. Like, he can be a bit weak in the duels, and sometimes when defending, like, the space as well, defending the box, you just want him to just clear your lines and just avoid the danger. And today he tries to, I don't know what he was trying to do, but he gets caught out, and it's a brilliant finish by Brandt. Like, to do that to Emi Martinez, like, he must come from national team and think, what is this, man? Like, how am I getting chipped in like a pre-season friendly and abroad? When I'm abroad for my national team, I never concede at all. But yeah, man, it was a good finish. But sometimes with Pau, just clear your lines. I appreciate what he does though on the ball. Like, he's so pivotal to how we play, the passes he finds. But I'd really like him to improve defensively just a little bit. And I think when you add Maatsen as well, he's probably not as strong defensively. I think Onana's going to have a lot of work to do covering wise. And I do think that's why he wants to play Ramsey on the left-hand side, because defensively off the ball, he is really good, Ramsey, and he tracks back with speed. So if we're going to play Pau and Maatsen, I think we will also need Ramsey and Onana covering.
Yeah, just another thing from that with our creativity. I think in the stats within the game, you take of that what you will, but Dortmund had 12 shots, we had 6. I think both teams had 2 shots on target within the game itself. So the stats, it doesn't look too far away. We were the away side, big ground. I think they were really up for it. Just in terms of what you've seen throughout the pre-season, creativity-wise, do you think Louise will be a miss in that instance and with the options we have? And again, it's going to be a big change, like set-piece takers, how we create from deep. How do you think Unai's thinking of, finding a solution for that and what we do losing Dougie? Because albeit Dougie was fantastic for us at times, but sometimes he didn't turn up as well. But who can you see taking that mantle a bit more? Is it Yuri Tillemans, or we're going to look to create further from out wide? I don't know what your thoughts are regarding that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I still think Douglas Luiz would still be our best midfielder if he was here. Like, I know we ended the season poorly last year, and I know, but I do think there was a bit of recency bias with takes saying like, Tillemans was much better than him, or he's a better player than him. I do think we're going to miss his creativity and just his confidence that he did have on the ball, even though he was poor towards the end of last season. But overall, as a player, I do think we're going to have to try and have to replicate what he produced elsewhere, especially set pieces as well, which was kind of underrated from him, how good his set pieces were. Yeah, because Anana is good, but do you think Anana can play that like slower, build some deep role?
I think so.
How do you see Anana?
Again, I think Anana's young, like he can be molded. I think he can be molded into that player for sure. Anana right now, maybe instructed just plays a 1-2, so keeps it simple, keeps it moving, controlling the game more. I think that will come with time. Again, he's just getting into a new system. It's a new way of playing. He wasn't used to playing this way at Everton. So I just think it will take a bit of time. And in that time where he develops, we just need to find other areas where we can create more chances. I don't think we lack it as such. It'd be nice to see where it's going to come from and how we're going to build from that. We have Bailey. I thought Village in second half again played well in parts. And I think he's just finding his feet. He played off the right today. He was playing off the left and on the right against Bilbao as well. But Philogene has that quality. He just needs time to settle himself back into the swing of things at Villa. It is a little concern just where the creativity is going to come from. Will it be Yuri Tillemans? Again, last year when Yuri Tillemans was really good creatively, I thought it was when he was playing as the kind of 10 or playing as a second forward, just dropping into the hole.
On top of the box. He was in the front of the box.
Exactly. In front of the 2 in the box of the box 4. So, it would be interesting again as the season progresses who steps up and kind of becomes that player, or again, are we just going to spread it around even more within that? But yeah, at times in the first half, I did just think, where's that creativity going to come from? Are we going to move more to being more transitional and until players integrate into the side and find their feet? Are we just going to step back a bit and play more transitional football? I don't know. I think Unai's kind of set on the system in that sense, and I'm not too sure that will be the case. We'll just have to work it out as we go along.
Yeah, I think today was a more transitional. I think we had 38%, 8% possession.
Yeah,
and I know possession isn't everything, but in terms of like understanding who kept the ball or not, I think we did try and play transitional today. One thing I do notice, to get at us diagonals, I think a lot of teams are picking up on that. Whenever players like beat our forward line, they'll play the diagonal straight away. And because we're so compact and we like move towards one side of the pitch, as soon as they play that diagonal, it's always on. So I think we do keep our shape well. I'm not going to lie. Like, we are defensively.
Yeah, we keep our shape really well. I think so. I think we do as well.
But the diagonals are always there, definitely. But
I think more of today was a case of just sloppiness on our part, not more the shape. I think defensively anyway, it was a penalty and a Torres mistake. And apart from that, I thought it was fairly even in terms of the transition of the chances. It was either we were just getting caught, giving possession away in the middle of the pitch, transitioning on us. And we should have scored in the second half. Yeah, we had chances to score and we were catching them out as the game went on.
We pressed them well. Second half, there was one chance where we blocked up all the keeper's options and he forced it to kick it at us. And I think Bailey should have just shot first time. We could have got back into the game. So there's still good aspects in how we play, man. Like, it's not all doom and blue.
No, not far from it. Really far from it. I think it's just going to take. It's a bedding in period. we've had
Yeah,
such
man.
a turnover of players. It's just going to take time for them to bed in and get used to the system. And to be honest, we may start slow. I wouldn't be surprised if we do start slow. We have two tough games to start the season.
Yeah, they're games. If you know
Yeah,
Villa, those are bogey side games, man.
but the tough games. I mean, Arsenal we've done well against of recent times, but West Ham away we don't do the best there. We got a point last year. We played well that second half as well. But yeah, I think it's just a bedding in period, and we could have a slow start. Don't be too concerned with that because I think it will just build up as players get used to it and get used to playing with each other. But yeah, second half was was so much more positive. I thought we played well. I thought Ramsey was good again today. It's nice to see him just getting further forward, getting on the ball and driving at people. Um, Again, the standout for me is Costa Nedjalkovic. I thought he's really pushing for that right back position, isn't he? I thought defensively he was good today as well, which we haven't really seen aspects of. It's more of been on the ball and going forward with the ball and his pace. But I thought defensively he played well as well. He played well in the shape and he did a good job defending. And even when he was beaten on the transition with the ball over the top, he was getting back into the position and either blocking the cross or tackling the player who had the ball. So I thought Costa did really well. And as an 18-year-old, the development and the potential he has, he could go on to be some player. But yeah, I do think he's running it close for that position, especially if Ezri Konsa is playing right centre back. Yeah, how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I agree, man. Like, I think he's better than I think he has more to his game at the moment than maybe Akash does in terms of like how we play. I think long term we are looking to bring in a new right back though, so I don't think he'll be starting for time. But he's 18, man. Like kid's just starting his career, and how he didn't get a penalty against Bilbao. Like I don't know what the ref had against him. That was the most blatant stoneballer I've ever seen.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, taking it from this game, I thought first half sloppy in possession, shape was still good. Second half much better, pressed well as well, and just don't be too concerned with this regarding the whole season. Again, we could potentially start slow. We haven't had our main striker throughout the whole of pre-season. Players are just getting used to the system, getting used to playing with each other as well. We've had a big turnover of players. So we could potentially start slow, but there's no reason to panic. We saw what happened last season when we had a fantastic pre-season, got battered by Newcastle first game of the season, and it just took time to develop, albeit we didn't have as much of a turnover. It's just going to take time. So yeah, I think not much to worry about or be concerned about as such. Again, Dortmund are a very good side, and they had a new manager that we're looking to impress. And again, West Ham, new manager. It's going to be their first game at home. It's going to be a tough game next week for sure. But yeah, any other thoughts, bro, you want to add?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not quite there yet. I am kind of worried on some things. Like I'm not fully just wiping. I'm not worried at all. Like there's certain things I am worried about with the season starting like next week. But I do just think defensively reinforcements, man. Please, I know we're getting linked to defenders now, but yeah, can we just get some centre backs in, please? Like defense was the biggest problem for us last season. When Kamara was out, we were conceding the most chances in the league. We were like top 5. So yeah, please centre backs. Let's give some options to our defensive line and strengthen that.
So to your thoughts on that then, is it the quality of players then, or is it the shape?
No, I think it's the quality. I think it's the quality of players. Being able to play the high line, being able to run back, being able to build, and winning your aerial duels. I think that's the biggest problem.
Is that for you as a squad though, or as a starting 11? Because say for instance, if we say Pau and Konsa are centre backs, would you say the right back, if we signed a Matson as well, and he was to come into the side, would you just say it's the right back then for the starting?
Yeah, because the right back is a centre back in the system, so he's just another centre back in my eyes.
And Konsa to play right back.
No, Konsa will probably be CV. The right back in this, so it will be just another right. This is what Emi does. It will just be a right back centre back hybrid that comes in at right back. So like
yeah, but what do you think the main concern is? Because you said defensively, do you think it's the right back
aerial
or the centre back position?
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. I think Pau and Konsa as centre backs do lack the aerial duels, like winning aerial duels like that, and so that's why I think bringing in someone that is good aerially, has the pace to track back, can hold the line consistently as well. Because we've seen a lot of times where Cash is the only guy not holding the line correctly, and we get done. So I think that's important. And being able to build up, can you whip the pass around their shape and get us up the field by giving it to Tillemans in midfield? Like, I just feel, I know we've lost players in attack, but I feel like spending big on this type of player would have benefited us more than anything. So okay, it's happening now. The season starts next week, but yeah, let's get it done, man.
Yeah, I think again, if and when we do sign a player in that position, it's just expectations, because again, they're going to have to learn the line. They haven't had the preseason to work with the team, work with Unai. So if they're coming in to start, they're going to have to pick it up quick.
That's what I'm saying. It
can be difficult. So so that's what I'm saying. Like the slow start thing, I can see it happening. It's not doom and gloom. I can just see it, because if we were to go into those positions, and we know how Unai Emery likes his teams to be and how intense he is and a perfectionist as such, it would take time for anyone who's coming in now to just get an understanding and get used to the system and how we play. So yeah, I think that's a big position for sure. Again, just creativity. Where is it going to be coming from? I think again, Douglas Luiz was creative. Even Moussa Diaby, okay, he didn't start a number of games, but Moussa Diaby had the highest, shot creating actions. I think he created the most big chances as well, or he had the most chance creation numbers as well for us. So again, just seeing how we work around that for sure it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. But yeah, overall pre-season, what do you take from it?
Good to see the new players playing. Good to go to America. Expand on our brand. That New York Times thing was sick. Chris smashed that. Like we saw as well, like Mayweather was doing his thing in the build-up, and suddenly you got a fat Aston Villa badge next to Ice Spice in the building. Like that kind of stuff's just surreal to me, and it's just a little thing. So yeah, I think that was sick. I think we've definitely increased our brand, our scale. I think more fans are going to be looking out for us in the Champions League. So yeah, man, that was cool. Good to see Ramsey back, man. I just thought the talk of selling Ramsey was so premature coming off injury, and I just pray he stays injury free, because he's going to be a massive boost to our season if he's available. The other sides are, I was hoping for a bit more like variety in our play, and in how we build, just to see some new things, because there is that worry that we kind of might have been sussed out just a little bit towards the end of that season. So yeah, that's how I'd sum up pre-season. What about you?
For sure. Yeah, again, I think seeing the new players play, Costa, Mijalkovic has stood out. He's been very good. Very good. Enzo Baranachea has had good games as well.
Anana's looked good as well.
Yeah, Onana. Matson has had good moments as well within that. The others, I think it might just take a bit of time. Ealing Jr., Barkley, etc. And yeah, just again, as you say, bro, the exposure going to America, it just felt like it was on a different level this summer, as compared to last year when we were playing in that summer like Premier League tournament. It's a bit more exposure to get the brand out with the new kit, and the advert and the billboards around New York, etc. It's all good for the brand of the club. And yeah, it's a different feeling, because last year pre-season we had such a good pre-season in terms of results wise, and even the performances at times were really good. It's a different view in this one. We've lost, what is that, 4 games now? Won the first 2 and beat Bilbao as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a different outlook, a few more questions potentially, which isn't a bad thing, at all. But yeah, I just can't wait for the season to start. I really can't now. Pre-season's done. Everyone's got their fitness as much as they possibly needed, except for Watkins and Duran. And I just can't wait for the season to get going. I think there'll still be a few more incomings and outgoings before the end of the window as well, which will be interesting. Whether they take anything from the preseason friendlies, I'm sure they will, and just be like, okay, there's a few positions we still need, which I will have been working on anyway. But yeah, I'm just ready for the season to start now, and just push preseason to one side, as you don't remember preseason if you have a good season, no matter what happens. So yeah, just can't wait for the season to get going and underway. Yeah, anything else you want to add, bro?
Yeah, do you want to segue into these defenders link then? I want to know
Yeah,
which
I'm just
players.
going to go a few comments because the comments are, yeah, there's a bit of contrasting comments here, so I'll bring them up. Ryan Lee says, my heart bleeds for Archer. I really want it to work for him at Villa. Yeah, your thoughts on Archer? Because if anything, he's got the most goals in pre-season. Again, he had chances. He could have got another 2 today as well. Yeah, your thoughts on Archer within this, and can he be that second striker for us?
I'm not convinced, man. I'm not convinced. I've said I prefer. I know Devan has his issues with off the field stuff, and sure, okay, he doesn't want to be here. But if he does end up staying, I just prefer him as an option physically. Like he can stretch the play more, he can hold the ball up more. I think his ball striking's better. Archer, he does try, and I do think he's a Premier League player. But yeah, in terms of like replacing Watkins, if Watkins was ever to be injured, I'm not convinced, man. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, it's just the profiling. I think he could be a good Premier League player, for sure, and he's a good Premier League player. I just think the profiling it's just for that position, especially in the hold up and build up. You need someone who can do that, and I think Duran can do that better than Archer. I think finishing it's a much of a muchness for me. I feel, and ball striking as well. I think Archer's just as good. I've seen Archer score some sick goals as well. His finishing can be top. So I think that's much of a muchness. But in terms of physical presence and holding the ball off, I'd have more confidence in Duran playing. But I still, if Duran were to leave, yeah, I think we still need another striker for sure, definitely. And yeah, for me, I'd have more confidence in Duran. But that doesn't say Archer's not a bad player at all. I just think in another system he'd work so much better in terms of instead of what we play. So yeah, it would be a bit of a concern if we didn't get anyone else in and a Duran was to go, and it was just Watkins and Archer. But yeah, we'll see how that develops. Duncan says Rogers, Buendia are the number 10 role this year. Yeah, I think Rogers 10 or he'll play off the left again. Why move him? Last season he was fantastic off the left. I know JJ's back as well, but I think they'll just rotate the position. Ryan Lee says, agree with that. Quite happy with it as well. To be fair, the hole that Dougie has left in my mate and concern this season. Yeah, fair enough. Thanks for joining. Paul says, let's be real. We lost the German champions in an 80k plus crowd to a very dubious penalty. Then straight after, while still in shock, VAR would have possibly got him booked for diving. Paul also says, we would beat them at Villa Park with Watkins and Mings fit. And also says, please God, no Felix. Yeah, obviously Dortmund are a good side. They're a very good side. I just think it was at times just us and how we played in that first half on the ball. Just keeping the ball, we struggled to do it at times, and their press was really good. And that's happened a number of times. Villa struggling to play out when a side really presses them and puts them under pressure. When we're playing at home, we've seen it a number of times last season. When we're playing at home and on the front foot, and we were allowed to push forward into still in our half, but playing 60 yards from goal or maybe on the halfway line. We're really good at that when we play at our own pace. But when teams start to press on us, we kind of get caught, foot stuck under the ball, or make the wrong pass, or just have a lazy touch. And we saw elements of that in the first half. Second half, it was much better. Duncan says, do you prefer Tielemans? Do you prefer Tielemans further forward? Yeah, I think he played his best football last year when he was playing in that position further forward. But again, we have so many options in that position, and Tielemans still had good games playing in the two Arsenal away. That second half, he was fantastic and he was playing alongside McGinn. So he does have moments as well. And I think the Onana Tielemans understanding played with each other for a number of years now for country. I think that's what we're sticking with for now. Duncan says still need to fix left wing, right back up. Striker positions for me, Felix and Chalobah would greatly sort those out. Yeah, I like the sound of both those. I don't know about yourself, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about with you, like the Chalobah thing. I'd be interested to hear how you rank those three defenders we've been linked with, and who you think will be like the best fit for Villa.
Yeah, we'll get on to it. Amar says can't even see top 8. Thanks for joining, Amar.
Nice, positive,
Duncan
man.
says glad you knew he's staying there. 17 says, Paul, have you seen the game? They dominated Villa. Thanks for joining 17 as well. Duncan says, Nedeljkovic has looked good too. Watkins to play in behind doors match midweek. I hear. Yeah, I've heard. And as you said as well, bro, I did hear there was rumours of a behind closed doors match happening this week at Villa, and the players who didn't play today, and plus a few others, can get some more minutes, like Barkley and Ealing Juniors and players like that who have just been getting less minutes over the last few games. Lee Robinson joined. Thanks for joining. He says we're way off it. I can't lie. Kevin's joined as well. Thanks for joining, Kevin. He says rumours Watkins got a knee injury, but don't quote me. I'm sceptical myself. I hope that's not the case, Kevin. But thanks for the comment. Lee also says Nedeljkovic was had on toast. When was that? Lee? Let us know. Duncan says BD a last Champions League finalists were top opposition. Good test. It was indeed. And as I said, it was their new manager's first proper game, and it's pre-season, but at home, big crowd. They were well up for that game. Lee Robbins also said Archer gone and not good enough. So yeah, bro. Overall, mixed views on that in pre-season, which I think is just going to be of a typical fan base anyway. So yeah, we'll move on. And what were you going to say?
Nah, bro, I was just ready to talk about the defenders we've been linked with.
Yeah, fire away, bro.
Yeah, so Geertruida from Feyenoord, Trevor Chalobah from Chelsea, who's been banished today, by the way, which is just a madness what's happening at that club.
That's shocking.
I think they're pricks at that club, honestly. I just don't know how to treat people. Shocking, man.
Disrespect, even with Conor Gallagher as well.
Yeah, man, like locking them out the facilities, like the
players have been there since they've been kids.
Madness, bro. Madness. And then Joe Gomez, Liverpool, bro. How would you rate those three links? And considering transfer fee, style of play, defensive ability, how would you rank them in terms of the best fit for us?
Yeah, I think it's tough because I do think Joe Gomez is overall the better player out of the three, I personally. But with age, potential wages, injury record, I think Geertruida is probably the best option. He's 3 years younger. I think he's still a great player. He has experience as well, just won the Eredivisie as well, Dutch international, captain's final. I think they played a friendly today. He was captain as well. So he was captain under Arne Slot for a number of games last season. So he has experience as well, and he's a leader. So I think that's probably the better signing, as well as him being the last year of his contract. We could get him for a much cheaper fee. And yeah, I think he's number one, Joe Gomez number two, and Trevor Chalobah number three. But Trevor Chalobah, I don't think he's too far behind, to be honest. The games I saw last season of Chelsea and even the season before, I thought Trevor Chalobah was one of their better defenders. And he's a good player. Again, he can play in both positions as right back or centre back. So I like the way that all three players can play in both positions. Joe Gomez even played left back at times last season. So I'd be happy with all three, but my ranking would be Geertruida, Joe Gomez, and Chalobah. What about yourself?
Yeah, I don't want to look like I'm begging it or anything, but I actually have the same ranking.
Any different reasons?
I'll do it from the transfer perspective. Geertruida, 1 year left on his deal. Feyenoord want to sell. They want to sell. I don't know. It's the last year they'll get any money for him. I think he'd be the cheapest option, and his wages aren't too crazy. Joe Gomez, I'm seeing like 45, 40 million. He's going to be on big wages already at Liverpool. He's going to demand more. I agree with you. I think he's the best defensive player in terms of on the ball, footwork, defensive ability, aerial duels. But he is the most expensive transfer. And then Chalobah as well, 30 million. He's going to want an increase in wage as well. With Chalobah, I really do like Chalobah. I think he's solid at a lot of things. I think he can play in the build-up. I think he's got a good passing range. He can whip the ball around to beat their press. He does struggle aerially, though. Like, his aerial statistics aren't great, and we need that problem addressed because our back three... Yeah. So Chalobah, I'd put him bottom.
One thing I will say is, though, the two latter ones are, we've seen them in the Premier League. They're playing Premier League opposition week in, week out. Therefore, his numbers look really good, especially his passing numbers, and playing forward as well as his defensive. But he was playing in the Eredivisie. The other two are playing in the Prem. So that's something as well potentially you have to weigh up.
Well, you got to think Gertrude as well. Like, he's impressed in the Champions League as well. Like, he's got some performances there, especially like away at Atletico Madrid. I think one performance that's another. I think if you have the right system, right manager, you can. The other league thing doesn't have too much of a bad effect if you're coming into a new league. But I do take the point. Like, they have Premier League experience. I just think Chalobah, it's one of them where it's just like, it's not awful, but it's not like an amazing deal. And I think for the price, I think I prefer Gertrude, who can tuck into midfield. He's really good on the ball. His aerial duels, even though he doesn't get into many, like, his success rate for winning them is really good. Obviously, Feyenoord dominate the ball. They're not really facing that many aerial duels because they have so much possession. But I really like the idea, Gertrude, man. He's captain. He wins trophies. He won trophies like even just this season. The one like their version of the Super Cup. I just like the idea of that guy.
Yeah, same.
And it wouldn't surprise me.
Matson relationship fullbacks as well. Could be club and country in a few years. I know it's Dumfries and Nathan Ake, but in a few years they could be the club and country fullbacks if he was to come as well. So
it wouldn't surprise me as well if we sign Gomez, if Liverpool sign Gertrude because he's played on the slot before.
Yeah. That's a good shout. Yeah, that is a good shout, to be fair, if that was to be the case. Maybe we could potentially see two of them come in, bro.
I don't think I'll be a fan. I think they're too similar profile for that.
But if two players were to go?
Yeah, even still, I'd have Borgard. I think Borgard's already there. I don't think you'd need to spend like 50 million to bring two players similar profile when Borgard's there. I'd just chill. Yeah. I'd chill with that.
Yeah, I think, look, again, second half when Borgard played really well again.
Yeah,
he looked like, just slotted straight in. So, yeah, I think Bogard's really proven himself in pre-season that he's ready, and he's one that's definitely had a fantastic pre-season, and he's staking the claim to be part of the squad for sure, which I think he will be anyway, and then getting into the team as well. But yeah, bro, one comment from Kevin, Pau Torres seems off it to me, very sloppy. Yeah, your thoughts on Pau Torres and just the pre-season he's had, and do you think he's still feeling it from his injury? He's had the summer off. He didn't go into the Euros. At times last season, we didn't see him for a few months, and then he was in and out of the team. He was having ankle problems as well. Has had the summer off, but again, do you think he might be feeling the effects in that, or it's just about getting back into it in pre-season, and it's just a pre-season games, and he should be back on it?
It's hard to say, like, recovering from the injury or not. But spoke about it like on this podcast just earlier. For all his amazingness with his passing and being pivotal in our build-up, like, he is weak defensively. We know this. He's weak defensively. He's weak in his duels, and he does need protection from the other side. So yeah, with Maxson coming in, who isn't the greatest defensively, like I said, man, Onana and Ramsey are going to have a lot to cover him and ensure he's protected so that he can stay in the team and improve our build-up, because he's pretty key to how Emery wants to play.
He's key. And we saw that last season. We saw when he wasn't playing out, we didn't look the same. But yeah, definitely.
So I think it's one of them where fans can rightfully be frustrated at his defensive lapses and not clearing the ball, because it is annoying, it is frustrating. But at the same time, it's just like the opportunity cost of not having him in the team is we lose all our build-up play, our ability to progress the ball through the lines. get the ball up the field quick, it's almost like a payoff, and we have to compromise with it. And as long as you can limit how many times he does have to face a defender like attacking him with the ball, the better we are for it. So I think it's just that compromise we have to make.
Yeah, and I think again, a big thing as well with the squad is now we've got a squad that's kind of more the quality levels kind of closed in between players. Now hopefully the plan with that is you'll start to see players pushing other players now. So starting players in the starting 11, you're not guaranteed minutes. You're not guaranteed to be starting. Maybe an Emi and a Watkins, but everyone else you want it to be competitive. You'd like those to be competitive as well in an ideal world. Just so everyone's sharp and on it. And then it means that, everyone has to be on it. Otherwise, you're going to lose your place because the quality is so good. And I think that's what we tried to do this summer. We tried to work towards that. Some may say we haven't improved the first 11, which may be the case, but I feel like the squad overall has improved in quality. And you want to start pushing that first 11 with the squad. But yeah, I just can't wait for the season to start, bro. West Ham next week.
And it's just weird as well.
5:30 again.
Bro, I have not got a clue how that game's going to go. We could win, lose, or draw. Like, there's just no idea. Genuinely no idea. If we went there and conceded a header from a corner in the first 10 minutes, would you be surprised? No. If we went there and just scored on transition from like Rodgers, would you be surprised? No. Like, literally I just don't know anymore. And I'm just hoping we win, because we will need a win before we go into that Arsenal game, because normally we get the Everton at home to like relax all our nerves with the season. But this year we got another hard game like straight after.
Yeah, it's a tough. Those two are a tough start. They are a tough start, and even then, I don't like. That might be the case, but then we might pick up form going into Leicester, etc., going forward. So, yeah, two tough games to start the season with for sure. And I'm sure last season, after pre-season, me and you were going, yeah, can't wait for Newcastle. We're gonna give them a good game, and look what happened. So, yeah. Possibly temper expectations for the first two and just see how it goes and see how we play. Because as you said, bro, who knows what could happen.
And also, hopefully, the away kit drops next week, which will get people happy again.
Definitely.
Like, he's a bit mad. Like, we ain't dropped our away kit yet.
No, but that's the Villa way, isn't it? Like, that's been the Villa way with kits for so long now.
Like,
we're so
last minute. Just
anyway. But I'll give it this season. It's understandable because of Adidas and coming in so late and changing from Castaway. It's understandable this year. But other seasons we've been just as late with kits as well. Some teams announce kits before the end of the season before and playing them, but Villa never seem to do that.
It'd be funny if we rocked up in that AVFC Foundation white kit next week. Just like, sorry lads, you can't auction them off yet, man. We still need them.
I won't mind it. We have a good record in that kit. We played 1-1.
That's Sam Allardyce single record in that kit, bro.
Yeah, facts. Club store opens next week.
Yeah, it looks nice.
It does look good. It does look good. That'd be nice to see, man. Just another thing added to the many things that Chris Heck has done around the club. So yeah, that'd be really good as well. Looking forward to seeing that. Yeah, bro, we'll have a match preview. Thanks everyone for joining. We won't carry on because we start to waffle a bit now, but yeah, we'll definitely have a preview for the game next week for sure. Yeah. First game of the Premier season.
We're gonna try to upload a lot more and be a lot more with upload. Now the season's starting, isn't it?
Yeah, facts. Yeah, we're back into the swing of things for sure. But yeah, thank you all for joining. Thanks for your comments as well. Contrasting comments within that, which is expected because it's been a contrasting pre-season for Villa for sure. But yeah, I'm sure everyone in the comments and watching is just as excited as every Villa fan is and can't wait for the season to start. But yeah, bro, thanks for joining and enjoy the rest of your weekend and prepare yourself. Get your fantasy team ready. Prepare yourself for next week because the season starts.
Season starting, man. It's back.
Thanks for joining all. Again, if you could subscribe if you're new around here and drop your comments after the video as well. Let us know your thoughts on the Dortmund game, the Bilbao game, the whole of pre-season and your thoughts going into next season and how you're feeling. I Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Concerned? Let us know your thoughts and feelings going into the season, and I'll no doubt be responding to the comments. I like seeing your thoughts as well. Appreciate you all for joining, and up the Villa, ready for the start of the Premier League season.